Well, the Chancellor has repeatedly warned that the budget will involve difficult decisions.
So let's find out some thoughts on this from the MP Dave Dugan from the Scottish National Party. Very good morning to you. Thank you for your time this morning. We are in that curious time, aren't we, Mr Dugan, when we're a lot of speculation. We don't know until the day precisely what is in the budget. But from the SNP's point of view, what are your concerns as we look ahead?
Well, one of the things that's been very heavily trailed is an increase in employers' national insurance contributions, and that's a very concerning prospect indeed, because while the Chancellor maintains that she won't be increasing taxes on working people, if she increases employers' national insurance, that's a tax essentially on jobs. So whilst it might not be an increase in the tax paid by somebody in work, it will decrease the chances of somebody out of work finding a new job, and it will increase the cost for employers to potentially increase wages for those people who are in work and facing very high cost of living challenges in a deeply inflationary environment that we have in the United Kingdom. So either way, any way you look at it, an increase in national insurance contributions, even just for employers, will have a significant effect on the welfare of ordinary working people, which is precisely what the Chancellor told us ahead of the election that she wouldn't do. But, you know, we're used to, after just a few months of the Chancellor not being exactly straight with us on those commitments after the election.
Yeah, John, I mean, obviously that's something you've given some attention to. This, and again, we don't know for sure, but as expected, we understand as well that employers' national insurance contributions will go up. Have you kind of broken that down in a tangible sense about how that will affect? There's this phrase, isn't there, working people's income and salary. Have you broken that down to a degree, if that comes in?
Well, I think it's important to understand, and maybe not everybody's totally familiar with the figures. Employers already pay 13.8% on their employees' incomes as a direct tax. We call it national insurance, just another form of tax. And if that was to go up by what's been rumoured, she's talking about possibly 2 percentage points. That's a tremendous receipt for the Treasury, but it's a zero-sum game. If it's a tremendous receipt for the Treasury, it's a tremendous burden on business. And the Chancellor, if she knows one thing, knows that she faces a systemic issue of growth in the United Kingdom. You know, outside Scotland, the southeast of England and London itself, there is very little growth in the real economy in the United Kingdom. And the way that you generate growth is not by increasing the tax burden on business, the cost of doing business. That's the challenge that the Chancellor faces, and she's not giving me, or I don't suspect anyone else, a great degree of confidence that she understands that situation.
It begs the question, doesn't it? And I think no one's in any doubt that the Chancellor is facing some difficult decisions. Were it your decision to make and you were seeking to raise more money, how would you do that?
Well, of course, it's not just about the taxes, it's about the spending, and there's a significant amount of significant spending that the UK is involved in that would not be an SNP priority. But if you can do one of two things. You can either increase the taxes on the tax base that you've got, or you can seek to grow the economy so that that tax base goes up and you increase your revenue from the existing tax levels that you've got. And the Chancellor is trying to hedge her bets and trying to do both. She speaks about increasing growth and reducing debt as a percentage of GDP. But what does that mean for ordinary working people? It's almost certainly going to mean an increase in fuel duty. It's going to mean an increase in their employers' national insurance. It's not going to increase the amount of money in the real economy. It's not going to create opportunities for growth and business development. That's what the SNP would like to see, the tax base increasing. And in the meantime, while people are really struggling after 14 years of austerity and wage suppression, we need to see people protected from increased taxes and increased costs wherever they are. The Labour government committed to reducing energy bills by £300. There's very little talk of that coming out of 11 Downing Street. So the Chancellor needs to put people at the forefront of this budget, and it doesn't sound like that's what she's doing.
We will wait and see, Dave Dugan, for the moment. Thank you very much, SNP MP for Angus. Thank you.
26 minutes past 7 is the time. We recently